Tonight on Cronkite News, a visit from President Biden, how he hopes to court Latino voters in Nevada, Arizona, and Texas.
Plus, Arizona voters are making their own voices heard, heading to the polls for the presidential preference election.
And the Phoenix Rising are defending their USFL title with a new head coach. We'll tell you about the ties this coach has to the Valley. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Marnie Jordan.
And I'm Ari Wall. Thank you so much for joining us.
A busy day for politics in Arizona. Today is the day of the presidential preference election, and we have reporters covering every angle. We'll have a report from Election Central coming up in just a bit.
Plus, one of the names that is on the ballot is visiting the Valley today.
But first, Cronkite News reporter Sydney Whitty was out at the polls all morning. She joins us now from the newsroom with more on what the voting booths looked like.
Election day was in full swing for the presidential preference election. While I was out there, I saw residents and politicians alike at the polls who were proud to cast their ballots this afternoon. Though there weren't long lines at the polls earlier today, some voters made sure to stop by their voting location to make their choice for president. Among those who voted were politicians who also wanted to make their voices heard.
Presidential preference election, the turnout is not going to be as high as the election in November, and that's just the way it is. But we want people to come out, make your voice heard.
And our vote is sacred. Your vote is sacred. My vote is sacred. And I want everybody's legal vote to count. And we're going to work really hard to make sure that happens.
The presidential preference election lets voters choose what names will be on the ballot come time for the general election. In the newsroom, Sydney Whitty, Cronkite News.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, a lot of work goes into making sure these elections run smoothly.
Cronkite News reporter Adriana Gonzalez-Chavez has more now on how the state does just that.
Today's ballot was a closed primary, meaning that Republican and Democratic registered voters were the only ones who could participate today. This morning, Secretary of State Adrian Fontes said independent voters who did not switch to a party preference were not able to vote. And this includes about 1.4 million Arizonans. The ballot of early in-person and early mail-in voters will be counted today, as well as in-person votes, Fontes says.
This is a county-by-county decision. We will have our office monitoring the results as they come in. We will not be posting results until later on. And as everybody knows, we want to get it done right, and we want to get it done accurately, not necessarily as quickly as the media would like it.
Fontes did mention that the names of some candidates who withdrew from the race were still on the ballot today due to the time that they withdrew. Other states that held an election today include Kansas, Ohio, and Florida. In downtown Phoenix, I'm Adriana Gonzalez-Chavez, Cronkite News.
So when can we expect results to start coming in? Cronkite News reporter Athena Kehoe joins us now from where the votes are actually being tabulated.
Ballots have been arriving all day, and the initial count is expected to come an hour after the polls close. As mentioned, voter turnout is not expected to be heavy, so that means there won't be the usual amount of counting to do down here. Still, security at Election Central is high, with fences and police cars posted around the area to strengthen security and ensure workers and voters feel safe. One Arizona resident says she has seen a lot of change since 2020.
I mean, they're trying to protect the people that are inside because, again, emotions are high. We've seen a lot of stuff since then.
The state has until April 1st to count all of the votes, but it's anticipated that they will wrap up way before that. In Phoenix, Athena Kehoe, Cronkite News.
President Biden is making a planned stop in Phoenix as part of a tour of Sunbelt states to drum support. Arizona is part of a 3-day trip by President Biden, who started in Reno and is making stops in Arizona and Texas. The Arizona stop includes efforts to shore up support from Latinos and a stop at a chip manufacturing plant tomorrow to talk up administration efforts to bolster semiconductor manufacturing in the U.S.
Coming up next, Phoenix is ranked number 8 in the nation for homelessness.
After the break, we'll take a look at what solutions Phoenix has for the homeless population.
And temperatures are warming up. The forecast when we're back.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage,
against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland. In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
The Supreme Court ruled today Texas can enforce a new law that gives local police the power to arrest migrants who illegally cross the Mexico border.
The ruling wipes away the court's previous decision to block the law from taking effect and rejects an emergency request by the Biden administration, which said states have no authority to legislate on immigration. The law also empowers state judges to order people to be deported to Mexico. The order gave no reasons. It is the latest dispute between the Biden administration and Texas over immigration enforcement on the U.S.-Mexico border. The ruling means the law can go into effect, but it could still be blocked at a later date while litigation continues. The newest Arizona State Representative Democrat Jevin Hodge has resigned from the legislature.
This comes a day after the Arizona Republic reported Hodge was accused of sexual misconduct almost a decade ago while attending George Washington University. At the time, the university found he violated the school's sexual misconduct policies, according to the documents obtained by the Arizona Republic. The victim described the incident as a consensual encounter that turned into unwanted sexual contact. In a statement released today, Hodge says, "I unequivocally deny the allegations made against me. However, it is not my time to lead." Phoenix ranks number 8 in the nation for homelessness. The housing crisis is driving Arizonans out of their homes, creating an ongoing issue for the city as they search for solutions.
Reporter Tabitha Bland has more now on the homeless encampment area known as the Zone and what is being done about homelessness in Arizona.
Anonymous faces carrying their households on wheels. This is the reality for more than 13,000 individuals as Arizona is ranked 8th in the nation for homelessness.
I had to watch everything go in the dumpster because I had nowhere to take it.
Bridgette Alston Brewer knows the thin line that separates life from an apartment from life on a cot.
I have this little hard cot I stay on and 2 drawers underneath, and that's it.
That thin line is a dollar sign.
A $350 rent hike just to renew my lease? That's unheard of. I've been on my own since I was 17 in New York, and this has never happened.
According to a report from Arizona State University, there are only affordable rentals for 26% of extremely low-income households. That is what led so many Arizonans here to the Zone. A stretch of 15 blocks where 900 people called the sidewalk their home. The area deteriorated so badly over 3 years that local businesses filed a lawsuit to force the city to clean up the Zone block by block.
Just 4 months ago, this exact street behind me was covered with tents, property, and people. Now, following the cleanup, it looks like this. The tents have been packed. The property has been moved, but the people only have so many places that they can go.
Local organizations offer shelter.
They helped me, we did the paperwork, and in a few hours, I was inside.
But not everyone ends up in a safe place.
And then I definitely need you for 23rd Avenue.
And people don't just disappear.
There's lots of people there.
They spread out. On a rainy January morning, Stephanie Greenleaf is one of hundreds of volunteers who search the streets.
We'll check out the park.
To figure out where the unhoused are going.
See what we can find.
she found people taking shelter.
Do you have anything going on that keeps you out here?
In the open.
There's definitely been an uptick in the number of folks entering the homeless response system. And we also see an uptick in the number of people who are unsheltered, despite still bringing on new shelter beds in the past 2 years specifically.
In 2024, the city of Phoenix plans to add 790 more shelter beds, but that is only a temporary solution. And all signs point to one thing.
Housing solutions, because housing is ultimately the way that we solve homelessness.
So while the city is searching for housing solutions, folks like Brewer search for smaller things.
Right? So I'm not able even to do my laundry anymore.
Like the next place to clean her clothes.
Can find money. Well, I don't have, where? What do I do now? Right?
In Phoenix, Tabitha Bland, Cronkite News.
Switching gears now to the weather. It's been a beautiful few days.
Yeah, it really has, Marnie, and it's about to get warmer. Rishi Oza now joins us in the newsroom. Rishi, what is the forecast looking like?
It's looking warmer, and we're going to keep getting warmer as we go through this week. Let's take a look at our evening planner for the rest of this beautiful Tuesday that we have been having. Sitting at around 70 degrees right now. We're not going to change too much from that for the rest of the evening. Going to go down to 65 degrees at 10 p.m. That's about the lowest we're going to get. As we look into the low temperatures for tomorrow, you're going to notice something. They're not that low. 57 degrees in Phoenix, 48 in Tucson, 60 in Lake Havasu. As we go up north, 27 degrees in Flagstaff and 27 in Grand Canyon. But as we go into our highs for tomorrow, you're going to see those temperatures start to shoot up. 52 in Flagstaff, 58 in Grand Canyon. So if you're looking to go take a day trip out tomorrow, go out and get some nature. Tomorrow is going to be a great time to do that. Looking at the other highs across the state, 80 in Phoenix, 74 in Tucson, and right behind me, 83 in Lake Havasu as the high point for tomorrow. As we go into the 8-day forecast, looking ahead for the week and the weekend, 80 degrees tomorrow, 83 and 84 on Friday. So I know a lot of us are going to be rotting on our couches watching March Madness, but tomorrow, those days will be great times to go out and get some sun. Going into the weekend, Saturday is going to be at 82. Sunday, we're going to dip a little bit at 73. Monday at 72. And Tuesday at 74. But we're going to shoot right back up to 79 on Wednesday. My name is Rishi Oza with the Cronkite Weather Center.
I'm Alana Hambrow.
And I'm Eric List with a preview of your Cronkite Sports Report. Coming up next, 2024 marks 10 years since Sloan Park opened.
After the break, a drive into why some fans call the stadium a mini Wrigley Field.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized. Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Alana Hambrow.
And I'm Eric List.
The Cardinals are making more than just roster changes in this offseason. They're also changing their seating.
Yeah, next time you're at State Farm Stadium catching a Cards game, you might notice the south end zone looks a bit different. The Cardinals set out these renderings of the changes they attempt to modernize the stadium. They are developing custom casita suites in the south end zone of the stadium. The 2-deck casitas are among several new luxury seating items that also include 2 new club suites, one near each end zone. The highlight, though, has to be these 2-level casitas, which are the NFL's equivalent to beachfront property, sitting just feet from all the action.
We work with a designer and a builder to help us custom design these casitas for State Farm Stadium. They are your own home, literally in our end zone.
Now, with just 14 games left in the regular season, the Suns don't appear to be peaking at the right time. In their last 8 games, the team has only won half of them. Not exactly a sign of a championship caliber team. Perimeter defense has been that big issue, but as Bradley Beal put at practice today, the Suns team just needs to put together a winning run.
We definitely can't lay eggs like that. You know, we got to come out with a lot of better focus and a lot more sense of urgency than what we've been having. That's been way unacceptable, and we all know that. So, you know, we got to be better these last 14, really lock in, and it starts with us 3 and our attention to detail and our focus. And when we're good and we're focused and locked in, the rest of the team can follow.
The Phoenix Rising season has officially begun. The 2023 USL champions have entered a new era with a new head coach. I had the chance to speak to Danny Stone about his journey from Corona del Sol to roaming the sidelines as head of the Rising. Danny Stone has spent the last 3 seasons as the Rising's assistant coach. This year, he makes his debut as head coach, taking over after the Rising won the USL championship last season.
He's turned into a take charge type of coach and very motivated. And, you know, he's going to get the players to buy in.
But Stone was actually a playmaker in the Valley once before, having attended Corona del Sol High School in 1997, where he started his Phoenix soccer career as a player. He even showed signs of leadership back then.
He was a very standout, distinguished player, and, you know, he has the passion to just, you know, in his blood, so he was made to coach.
Having played here in his early years, Stone has plans to use his local roots and previous community ties to continue to engage Rising fans and build support for the team in his new position.
As far as ties to the community, I have that personally, and I feel very strongly about supporting the city of Phoenix as well as obviously supporting the club Phoenix Rising.
As Stone knows, filling this role not only means leading a professional team to another season of success, but also means being a role model for young players in the area who look up to Stone, evolving from local high school soccer to coaching at a professional level.
That is a big passion project for me, is when young players are growing up and developing, we hope a huge love for the game, and we hope that is on the field, we hope that is off the field, and we hope that they are both young players who take part in youth sport and youth soccer, and then also come and watch professional players play.
While he's passionate about being a role model for the future generations, right now Stone and his team are focused on getting the Rising off on a good foot for their season.
It's been a long and tough preseason for us. A lot of new faces as well. So no, we're in a good place with some good. So we're looking forward.
The team is confident as Stone hopes to bring them back into title contention. It's been a struggle for the Rising so far, who have started their season 0-2. The ASU men's swim and dive team is preparing for the NCAA championships next week in Indianapolis.
Yeah, confidence is high for Bob Bowman's squad after they captured the Pac-12 championship earlier this month. This has been a record-setting season for the team. During the Pac-12 championship, the team broke 3 NCAA records along with 11 ASU records. The team almost won a national title last year, but came in second place. Bowman, though, says with a few tweaks, his team will be ready to make another run at the championship.
Actually, we're very strong in the relays. There are a couple things we're probably going to tweak on those relays about who swims what and where. So some things like that we'll probably work on. And all of the individual events, you can always find something that you're trying to improve. Nobody's doing a perfect one. So, you know, everybody sort of has something that they took back away from that they can improve on.
This spring training, Sloan Park has been celebrating its 10th year of being the home of the Chicago Cubs.
Since it opened in 2014, the ballpark has set multiple attendance records, but as Cronkite News reporter Jonah Krell tells us, it's more than just a place for Cubs fans to watch their favorite team. Sloan Park is about tradition, family, and yeah, some baseball mixed in too.
Season ticket holder for 40 years.
Been a season ticket holder here in spring training for about the last 8 or 9.
I've been raising money for the 50-50 raffle since Sloan Park, but even before that at the Hohokam Stadium.
I've been on this same beer stand since the park opened. So I've got a lot of regulars, including that guy right there.
Even though Sloan Park is in its 10th year, it's actually only been Sloan Park 9 years. The first year it was just Cubs Park. But my point is, in the 9 years I've been coming down, I see the same people every year. And it is amazing. And I don't talk to them from April 1st till about mid-February when I report again.
You know, I think of Sloan Park and I think of baseball and sunshine. And all these people that you're going to see today, I did not know these people if it wasn't for spring training and the Cubs. I met them by coming to spring training and just sitting together and hanging. And now it's like family. You know, we tailgate every day and we got this set up right outside the stadium. It's beautiful. I think that's what Sloan means more than anything. It's just the community.
For me, I work and I sell tickets to season ticket holders, so I look forward to seeing them every spring. You know, it's the Cubs family. You know, that's what this becomes.
You guys ready? It just seems like it opened a couple of years ago. They keep it up great. I mean, it's painted the dark green like Wrigley. They keep it spick and span, and it's nice. Plus, it's got one of the biggest capacities in all of spring training, so we'll get 15,000 or more here for some games.
Vienna beef hot dogs are the only hot dogs served, and Budweiser, which is in Chicago, but it's Midwest, and it really does have a mini Wrigley feel, which I feel like the other spring training parks, no offense, I don't think they've encapsulated what they have in their home park down here as well as I think we have.
It's not necessarily about baseball in the spring. It's about just being here, and especially when all my friends are back in Chicago and freezing their little booties off. So look at what we got today.
From the fans to the food to the fan experience, come down here, participate. Don't have to be a Cubs fan, but I guarantee you'll leave one a Cubs fan.
And you love Chicago dogs.
She loves the Chicago hot dog.
Honestly, catching a game at Sloan should be a bucket list item for any baseball fan.
Alana, I agree for sure, but that's all the time we have. Sending it back to Marnie and Ari.
Coming up next, chocolate lovers around the world might have something to worry about.
That's right, satisfying that sweet tooth is getting pricier. How climate issues could be to blame for chocolate prices skyrocketing.
To me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized, individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
At Cronkite News, learn to work behind the camera for studio production. Our students spend time learning the ins and outs of all that it takes to run a newscast. From setting up the studio to building exciting graphics, studio production provides a job for everyone. Whether it be running audio, technical directing, or directing the newscast, students can experience the action behind the scenes. Join our team today.
Crossing the street in Las Vegas isn't always easy.
But artificial intelligence could change that. It will work like this. AI will detect both car and pedestrian traffic to determine how much time is needed to cross the street. But if you're visiting the city's famed strip, you won't see the high tech just yet. For now, AI-enabled crossings are only coming to the city's downtown Fremont Street corridor. That's all thanks to $1.4 million from President Joe Biden's infrastructure bill to help fund the project.
Climate conditions are continuing to take a toll.
And now it could prevent you from satisfying your sweet tooth. A shortage of cocoa is threatening chocolate production worldwide, which means cocoa prices are skyrocketing. In fact, the price for cocoa has more than doubled over the last year. According to a recent report from Wells Fargo, part of those supply issues have to do with climate, including tree diseases brought on by heavier rainfall. In West Africa, cocoa tree farmers are also battling dry temperatures and extreme winds from this year's El Nino.
That's it for Cronkite News. Thanks for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.